Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Continuing with the BJCP style guidelines, we're on style 17D, English barley wine. Overall impression, a showcase of malty richness and complex, intense flavors. Chewy and rich in body with warming alcohol and a pleasant, fruitier, hoppy interest. When aged, it can take on port-like flavors. A wintertime sipper. And of course, I think this is probably one of the most famous of the English barley wines is the J.W. Lee's Harvest Ale. As you can see, this one's from 2014. And it has a date, it says 12/2014 on there. So I assume that's when it was bottled, but who knows when it was actually brewed and then how long it's aged before they actually bottle it. So I actually would have preferred like a super fresh one, but this one, so it's like just over 3 years old, at least the bottle. So that should be really interesting. Let's go back to the specs here. Check the comments, history, characters, all that stuff. This is very, very long, as you can see. It takes up like the entire half of the page. So I'm not even going to read most of this. So just pause and read this if you want. Let's just go right to style comparisons. Although often a hoppy beer, the English barley wine places less emphasis on hop character than the American barley wine, obviously, and features English hops, obviously. English versions can be darker, maltier, fruitier, and feature richer specialty malt flavors than American barley wines. Has some overlap, I should say, with British Old Ale on the lower end, but generally does not have the vinous qualities of age. Rather, it tends to display the mature, elegant signs of age. Look at the gravity, 1080 to 1120. That is super high starting gravity. Even the finishing gravity, like 1018. That's still pretty high for finishing gravity. 8 to 12 ABV, 35 to 70 IBUs, pretty bitter. 8 to 22 SRM, dark but not super dark. So, and since I got my Walk the Line on Barley Wine t-shirt and my matching goblet here. This was a homebrew competition I judged a few months ago, so this was a nice little perk from doing that. So let's go get this in here and we'll get to drinking. Well, yeah, definitely very fruity. Get a little bit of like an apple cider kind of thing on here. So it's like apple, it's like a caramel apple, and it has like this tiny little bit of like maybe a lactic or Brett thing going on there. But otherwise, I mean, it's really sweet, and there's a little bit of alcohol. I mean, this is really strong beer. It's 11.5, but it's not like super boozy or anything. So the alcohol is making like a little bit of like a rum or something. It's not like a Scotch whiskey or anything like that. Not smoky at all. So let's check the specs on aroma. This is very long. Aroma, very rich and strong, strongly malty. Often with a caramel-like aroma in darker versions or a light toffee character in paler versions. So this is, a little bit of both. May have moderate to strong fruitiness, often with a dark or dried fruit character, particularly in dark versions. True. The hop aroma may range from mild to assertive and is typically floral, earthy, or marmalade-like. Alcohol aromatics may be low to moderate but are soft and rounded. I totally agree. The intensity of these aromatics often subsides with age. Okay. The aroma may have a rich character, including bready, toasty, toffee, and or molasses notes. Aged versions may have a sherry-like quality, possibly vinous or port-like aromatics, and generally more muted malt aromas. I'm gonna go 10 out of 12. If that tang wasn't there, it'd probably be 11, maybe even a full 12. Appearance, well, it looks like the old ale. It's just kind of a murky brown. I pulled the entire bottle in here, so I don't know if it's a bottle condition or not. I assume it was. Let's get a SRM on here. I'd say it's between 17 and 22. Yep, even if I hold up to the light, it's not that much more. Had like a tiny little bit of foam when I poured it. It's just kind of a, off-white soapy foam or whatever. Let's check the specs on appearance. Color may range from rich gold to very dark amber or even dark brown. Often has ruby highlights, but should not be opaque. I would call that opaque. Low to moderate off-white head. May have low head retention. All right. May be cloudy with chill haze at cooler temperatures, but generally clears to good to brilliant clarity as it warms. Well, I guess we'll find out. The color may appear to have great depth as if viewed through a thick glass lens. High alcohol and viscosity may be visible in legs when beer is swirled in glass. That's the longest description I've ever seen so far. I'm going to go 2 out of 3 just because of like the murkiness. All right. So let's talk about the flavor. Cheers. Walk the line on barley wine. Yeah, so very, very sweet. I feel like I could like pour this on pancakes or something. caramel, toffee, treacle, molasses, brown sugar, you name it. Nothing roasty. The actual malt flavor. I mean, well, the malt flavor is the confectionery flavor. So nothing like, I don't know if I'd really call this bready, because like it's that confectionery sweetness is so sweet. It's really overriding whatever authentic, natural, malt character is there. As far as the alcohol, I mean, it's 11.5. So I think it's kind of accentuating the sweetness, and it has like a kind of a drying sensation as it goes down, and a tiny little bit of heat in the throat, a little bit of peanut brittle too. So hops, I mean, I think it's a 3-year-old bottle. I think they're probably long gone by now. Just maybe real faint, earthy, floral kind of thing. Bitterness, a low amount of bitterness. It's enough to like make an effort at balance. So yeah, this beer is very, very sweet, and I would say that this actually is cloying, and for the style, it can be and should be. The alcohol is it's blending really well with the palate. It does not have like a oaky kind of thing to it. It doesn't taste like it's like a barrel or any kind of wood aged beer. And whatever tang that I was getting on the nose, I am not tasting. There's no Brett or sourness in here. And there is like the faint oxidation character, but it's like it's blending with the natural flavors of the palate, so it's not distracting or annoying or anything at all. This has aged really well. I'm actually quite surprised. All right, let's check the specs for barley wine. This is really long. Strong, intense, complex, multi-layered malt flavors ranging from bready, toffee, and biscuity and paler versions through nutty, deep toast, dark caramel, and or molasses and dark versions. Yeah, I'd say, closer to molasses. Moderate to high malty sweetness on the palate, although the finish may be moderately sweet to moderately dry depending on aging. Yeah, I'd say it's actually a moderately sweet aftertaste. Some oxidative or vinous flavors may be present, and often complex alcohol flavors should be evident. True, yeah, they're there, but they're not like, overriding. Moderate to fairly high fruitiness. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. There's just kind of a general, British fruity kind of character going there. But like the confectionery flavors are much more prominent. Hop bitterness may range from just enough for balance to a firm presence. Yeah, I'd say the former. Balance therefore ranges from malty to somewhat bitter. It's definitely malty. Pale versions are often more bitter, better attenuated, and might show more hop character than darker versions. However, all versions are malty in the balance. Low to moderately high hop flavor, often floral, earthy, or marmalade-like English variety. A little bit more like obvious hop flavor would be nice, but and a little bit more like fruitiness. Actually, maybe I should give that an 18. I'll give that an 18. We'll come back. Mouthfeel, well, full-bodied, very full-bodied, and pretty low carbonation. It's very, thick, sticky, chewy body, kind of like leaves like a sugary sensation on my lips. It's not a sipper. I mean, you probably should sip this. It's not challenging me to drink. I can drink this in relatively bigger gulps, but I mean, it's more fun to sip it. The 11.5 ABV is there, but it's really restrained, like it's under control, considering how strong it is. Let's check the specs. Full-bodied and chewy with a velvety, luscious texture, although the body may decline with long conditioning. A smooth warmth from aged alcohol should be present. True. Carbonation may be low to moderate depending on age and conditioning. True. That's it. All right. Well, I'm really impressed by drinkability, and that I'm not breathing fire here or anything. I'm gonna go full 5 out of 5 on that. Like I said, I am genuinely shocked on how well this has stood up over time. Over on pressure, I'm gonna say the full 10 out of 10. There's no reason not to. That's a total score of 45 out of 50, which is a low end of 10. 45 out of 50 for the JW Leaves Harvest Ale 2014 vintage. Really like it. I'm glad I got it. I think I actually got this in Albany, now that I think about it. So, yeah, thanks to you guys out there for watching. I will see you next time. Cheers. Walk the line on barley wine.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it.
Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Reviews.
Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.